There is a truth most people spend their entire lives trying to avoid. The battles that shape your future are rarely fought against enemies standing before you. They are fought against fear hiding within you. Many men and women believe their greatest obstacle is a difficult boss, a stubborn spouse, a hostile competitor, or an unreasonable critic. They spend years trying to change the minds of others while neglecting the one mind they truly possess the power to govern. Yet history teaches a different lesson. The person who cannot master himself will never master a conversation. The person who cannot govern his emotions will never persuade a difficult soul. And the person who cannot remain calm when challenged will surrender his power before the argument has even begun. I learned long ago that people do not lose great battles in a single moment. They lose them in 1,000 small moments of impatience, pride, anger, and wounded ego. A careless word can destroy years of trust. A moment of arrogance can close a door that wisdom might have opened. An uncontrolled temper can turn a friend into an enemy. This is why the strongest people are rarely the loudest. The wisest leaders are rarely the most aggressive, and the most persuasive individuals are seldom those who speak the most. They possess something far more valuable. They possess command of themselves. Look around at the world today. Voices grow louder. Opinions grow harsher. Arguments become wars. Every disagreement becomes a battlefield where people seek victory instead of understanding. Yet the harder people push, the less influence they seem to gain. Why? Because human nature has not changed. A person can be forced into silence, but never into belief. A person can be humiliated into submission, but never into loyalty. A person can be defeated publicly and still refuse to change privately. The tragedy of many lives is not that people lack intelligence. It is that they misunderstand the nature of influence. They believe persuasion is about overpowering another person. It is not. Persuasion is the art of guiding rather than forcing. It is the discipline of understanding before demanding to be understood. It is the courage to remain steady when emotions tempt you toward recklessness. And it is the wisdom to recognize that every difficult person carries unseen burdens, private fears, and silent battles hidden beneath the surface. The greatest leaders understood this. They knew that every argument contains two struggles. One exists between people. The other exists within them. The second struggle always determines the outcome of the first. That is why true influence begins long before words are spoken. It begins in the heart. It begins in character. It begins in the quiet moments when no audience is watching and no applause is waiting, because the way you handle conflict reveals who you truly are. Pressure does not create character. Pressure reveals it. And when the storms of disagreement arrive, as they always will, your response will expose whether you have built your life upon wisdom or impulse. What I am about to share is not merely a method for winning arguments. It is a path toward becoming the kind of person whose presence carries weight, whose words carry influence, and whose character commands respect long before a single sentence is spoken. That journey begins with understanding why so many people fail before the conversation even starts. Most arguments are lost long before the first word is spoken. The failure begins in the mind. A man enters a disagreement already convinced that he must prove his superiority. A woman enters a difficult conversation already preparing her defense. Both arrive carrying invisible armor, and neither realizes that the armor itself has become the obstacle. Human beings possess a deep hunger to be right. It is one of the most powerful forces in our nature. We defend our opinions because they become attached to our identity. We protect our beliefs because they feel like extensions of ourselves. And when someone challenges those beliefs, it often feels less like a discussion and more like an attack. This is where wisdom separates itself from impulse. The impulsive person hears disagreement and prepares for war. The wise person hears disagreement and begins searching for understanding. That distinction changes everything. Consider the oak tree standing against a violent storm. The rigid branches snap first. The flexible branches endure. Strength is not always found in resistance. Often it is found in restraint. Many people imagine that persuasion requires constant speaking. They believe influence belongs to the quickest thinker, the sharpest debater, or the most forceful personality. Yet some of the most influential individuals in history possessed a different habit. They listened, not because they lacked confidence, because they possessed enough confidence to listen without fear. There is remarkable power in allowing another person to feel heard. A difficult person expects resistance. An angry person expects confrontation. A stubborn person expects opposition. When they encounter genuine attention instead, something unexpected begins to happen. Their defenses weaken. Their hostility softens. Their certainty becomes less rigid. The conversation starts moving in a different direction. This does not happen because they suddenly agree with you. It happens because human beings are more willing to reconsider their position when they feel respected. Respect opens doors that force cannot unlock. I have seen talented people destroy opportunities because they valued being right more than being effective. They won the argument and lost the relationship. They proved their point and lost the trust. They achieved a temporary victory and suffered a lasting defeat. Such victories carry a hidden cost. Every unnecessary conflict leaves scars. Every act of pride creates distance. Every moment of contempt weakens influence. The person who wishes to persuade difficult people must first abandon the desire to dominate them. That idea may sound weak to those who misunderstand strength, but there is nothing weak about self-control. There is nothing weak about patience. There is nothing weak about choosing wisdom when anger would be easier. In fact, these qualities demand greater courage than aggression ever will. Anyone can raise their voice. Anyone can react. Anyone can surrender to emotion. Few can remain composed when challenged. Few can maintain dignity when criticized. Few can keep their judgment clear when others lose theirs. Yet these are the very qualities that transform ordinary conversations into opportunities for leadership. Because every difficult encounter presents a choice. You may react according to instinct, or you may respond according to principle. One path strengthens your emotions. The other strengthens your character. And character is the foundation upon which all lasting influence is built. The moment you understand this, the nature of conflict begins to change. The argument is no longer about defeating another person. It becomes an opportunity to elevate yourself. It becomes a test of discipline, a measure of wisdom, a proving ground for leadership. And for those willing to learn this lesson, adversity itself becomes a teacher. That realization marks the beginning of a profound transformation. There comes a moment in every meaningful life when a person discovers a truth that changes everything. The world is not testing your comfort. It is testing your character. Most people spend years wishing for easier circumstances. They pray for fewer obstacles, fewer critics, fewer disappointments, and fewer difficult people. They imagine that peace will arrive when adversity finally disappears. Yet adversity never disappears. It simply changes its form. The stronger you become, the greater the responsibilities placed upon your shoulders. The greater your influence, the greater the challenges that accompany it. The higher you rise, the stronger the winds become. This realization marks the turning point. The moment a person stops asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and begins asking, "What is this teaching me?" is the moment growth truly begins. Every difficult conversation contains a hidden lesson. Every stubborn opponent offers an opportunity to develop patience. Every unfair criticism presents a chance to strengthen self-control. Every disagreement becomes a mirror reflecting the state of your character. Most people never recognize this. They spend their energy trying to control circumstances they cannot control. Meanwhile, They neglect the one thing entirely within their power: themselves. The strongest leaders in history were not forged during moments of ease. They were forged during moments of hardship. Steel is strengthened by fire. Character is strengthened by resistance. Wisdom is strengthened by experience. And influence is strengthened by adversity. Imagine a river cutting through solid stone. It does not succeed because it possesses overwhelming force. It succeeds because it possesses persistence, day after day, season after season, year after year. The stone eventually yields. The lesson is profound. Lasting influence rarely comes from intensity. It comes from consistency. Many people approach difficult individuals like a hammer striking a wall. They push harder, argue louder, demand faster results. When nothing changes, frustration consumes them. But wise leaders understand something different. Human beings are rarely transformed by pressure alone. They are transformed through trust, example, patience, and time. A seed does not become a mighty tree overnight. A strong character is not built in a day, and a resistant heart is seldom changed in a single conversation. The impatient person abandons the effort too soon. The disciplined person remains steady. That steadiness becomes power. There is remarkable strength in refusing to allow another person's behavior to determine your own. When someone speaks with anger, answer with composure. When someone acts with hostility, respond with dignity. When someone attempts to provoke you, remain anchored in principle. Such actions confuse those who expect conflict. More importantly, they strengthen the person practicing them. Every time you choose restraint over reaction, you become stronger. Every time you choose understanding over judgment, you become wiser. Every time you choose principle over impulse, you become more capable of leading others. This is why difficult people often become unexpected teachers. They reveal weaknesses that comfort would have concealed. They expose impatience that success might have hidden. They uncover pride that praise would have protected. And once those weaknesses become visible, they can be corrected. The challenge that frustrates you today may be shaping the strength you rely upon tomorrow. The criticism that wounds your pride today may refine the wisdom you carry into the future. The difficult person standing in your path today may be helping forge the character that defines your legacy. Nothing meaningful is wasted when viewed through the lens of growth, not failure, not rejection, not conflict, not adversity. Everything can become fuel for transformation. And as this understanding deepens, another truth begins to emerge. True greatness is never built upon talent alone. It is built upon character. The habits that strengthen character become the foundation for a life of enduring influence. That is where the next lesson begins. Character is the invisible force that determines the direction of a life. Many people devote themselves to improving their appearance, expanding their knowledge, increasing their wealth, or strengthening their reputation. Yet they neglect the foundation upon which all lasting success depends. They neglect themselves. A person may possess remarkable talent and still fail. A person may possess extraordinary intelligence and still lose influence. A person may possess endless ambition and still struggle to earn respect. Character is what transforms ability into impact. Without it, strength becomes recklessness. Without it, intelligence becomes manipulation. Without it, ambition becomes selfishness. The first lesson of character is discipline. Discipline is not punishment. It is freedom. The undisciplined person becomes a prisoner of moods, impulses, and distractions. Their emotions control their decisions. Their circumstances control their behavior. Their desires control their future. But the disciplined individual lives differently. They do not wait to feel motivated before taking action. They act because their principles demand it. They remain steady when enthusiasm fades. They remain committed when progress feels slow. They remain faithful to their purpose when easier paths appear. Such consistency appears ordinary in the moment, yet over time it becomes extraordinary. The second lesson is patience. Few qualities are more misunderstood. Many mistake patience for weakness. In reality, patience is strength under control. It is the ability to endure delay without surrendering direction. It is the ability to remain calm while others panic. It is the ability to trust the process when immediate results are nowhere in sight. The strongest oak in the forest did not grow in a single season. The deepest rivers did not carve their paths in a single day. Greatness follows the same law. The third lesson is courage. Not the courage celebrated in stories and monuments. Not the courage that seeks applause. The quieter kind. The courage to speak truth when silence would be easier. The courage to accept responsibility when excuses are available. The courage to admit mistakes when pride demands denial. This form of courage transforms ordinary people into leaders, because leadership begins with honesty. Not honesty toward others alone, honesty toward oneself. The fourth lesson is resilience. Life will disappoint you. People will misunderstand you. Plans will fail. Efforts will sometimes go unnoticed. There will be seasons when progress feels invisible. During such moments, many abandon their purpose. They mistake temporary difficulty for permanent defeat. Yet resilience teaches a different lesson. A setback is not the end of the journey. It is part of the journey. The road to meaningful achievement has never been straight. Every worthwhile destination requires endurance. Every lasting accomplishment demands persistence. The fifth lesson is self-control. This may be the rarest quality of all. The ability to govern one's thoughts, words, and actions creates immense power. A person who controls their temper possesses greater strength than one who merely controls circumstances. A person who governs their tongue avoids battles that wisdom would never choose. A person who masters themselves becomes difficult to manipulate. This is especially true during conflict. When others lose composure, maintain yours. When others seek chaos, become a source of stability. When others surrender to emotion, remain anchored in principle. The world remembers those who bring clarity during confusion. It remembers those who stand firm when others waver. It remembers those whose character remains intact regardless of circumstance. Over time, these qualities begin to compound. Discipline strengthens patience. Patience strengthens resilience. Resilience strengthens courage. Courage strengthens leadership. And leadership expands influence. This is how ordinary individuals gradually become extraordinary. Not through sudden transformation, not through luck, not through shortcuts, but through thousands of decisions aligned with timeless principles. And those decisions ultimately create the path toward greatness itself. Greatness rarely announces its arrival. It does not appear with fanfare. It does not emerge from a single victory. It does not arrive through sudden recognition. Instead, greatness grows quietly. It is built in ordinary mornings when no one is watching. It is forged in difficult conversations where patience overcomes pride. It is strengthened in moments when character triumphs over convenience. Most people spend their lives searching for a secret. They search for a strategy that will guarantee success. They search for a shortcut that will eliminate struggle. They search for a breakthrough that will instantly transform their circumstances. Yet the truth remains unchanged across generations. The path has always been visible. The challenge is that few are willing to walk it. The people who leave a lasting mark upon the world are not necessarily the most gifted. They are often the most persistent. They continue when others quit. They learn when others complain. They grow when others blame. They endure when others surrender. And in time, these small advantages become enormous. A single disciplined decision may seem insignificant. A single act of patience may go unnoticed. A single moment of self-control may appear unimportant. Yet years later, those choices become the foundation of an entirely different life. This is especially true when dealing with difficult people. Never forget that influence is earned. It cannot be demanded. Respect cannot be forced. Trust cannot be commanded. Loyalty cannot be purchased. These things grow through consistency. They grow through integrity. They grow through the example you set. When circumstances become difficult, people watch how you respond to pressure. They watch how you handle disagreement. They watch how you treat those who oppose you. Your actions often persuade more effectively than your words. The strongest argument is a life lived according to principle. The most powerful message is a character that remains steady during adversity. The most convincing proof of wisdom is wisdom demonstrated. As the years pass, you will discover that many battles were never worth fighting. Many arguments were never worth winning. Many conflicts were never worth carrying. What matters is not how many people you defeat. What matters is how many lives you elevate. What matters is not how loudly you speak. What matters is the weight your words carry when you do. What matters is not whether every person agrees with you. What matters is whether you remain faithful to your values. The world has always needed such people. It needs men and women who can remain calm amid chaos. It needs individuals who choose understanding over hostility. It needs leaders who possess the courage to stand firm without becoming bitter. It needs citizens whose character is stronger than their circumstances. Perhaps the greatest victory available to any human being is this: to face adversity without becoming hardened, to encounter criticism without becoming resentful, to experience success without becoming arrogant, to possess power without abusing it, to influence others without losing oneself. That is the mark of true leadership. That is the measure of genuine strength. That is the legacy that endures long after titles, wealth, and recognition have faded. So when you leave this moment and return to the challenges waiting before you, remember this: every conversation is an opportunity to practice wisdom. Every disagreement is an opportunity to strengthen character. Every difficult person is an opportunity to develop patience. Every setback is an opportunity to build resilience. And every day is an opportunity to become the person you were capable of being all along. Stand firm in your principles. Guard your character with vigilance. Choose discipline over impulse. Choose courage over fear. Choose purpose over comfort. Choose growth over excuses. Then move forward with confidence. Not because the road will be easy. Not because every obstacle will disappear. But because you will have become stronger than the obstacles themselves. And when history writes its quiet judgments upon the lives of ordinary people, it is not talent alone that earns remembrance. It is character. It is perseverance. It is integrity. It is the unwavering determination to do what is right when doing what is easy would have been far simpler. Carry that truth with you. Let it guide your decisions. Let it shape your actions. Let it define your legacy. For the person who masters himself can influence others. The person who influences others can lead. And the person who leads with wisdom, courage, and character can change the course of a life, a family, a community, and perhaps even the future itself. The journey begins now. The choice is yours. And the time is this very moment.